it is going to produce from the street layer, that is there will be a camera for the LPR, VA, mobile devices, right? And parking and traffic flow sensors are produced from the street layer. And here you are able to see the content. Hello, Jivita? Bharti? Now that is a city layer, okay? City layer where the distributional switch, gateways, right, and other where the data is produced by the producer is going to accepted by the city layer, right? And IO enable the third party sensor implementation. And here in the street layer you have new smart services for cities and the citizens, where the people, the sensors are going to produce the data and it is going to be accepted. And unifying foundational platform with ROI in 10 years depending on use case deployment. And in this data center layer, right, you can see the internet and other network, ASA firewall, right, network management, location services, engine, virtualization, and computer storage servers, where whatever the data the producers are going to produce, that is going to be stored in the computer storage servers, right? And there are DC switches, wireless controllers, ASA firewall, internet, okay? So all these things are going to form the foundational platform with the, so depending on a use case deployment of the traffic and the parking lighting system. And service layer, it is having the parking management, lighting management, safety and security management, traffic management, where the data is going to be distributed to the end users or the end devices. New governance model implementation is going to be done on the cities. So street layer is composed of some devices, sensors, and collect the data and take action based on the instructions from the overall solution, as well as the networking components needed to aggregate and collect the data. So sensor data source that generates the data required to understand the physical world. Sensor devices are able to detect and measure the events in the physical world. So see, there will be ICT tools which are going to use the connectivity solutions rely on the sensor to collect the data from the world around them, so that it can be analyzed and used to operationalize use cases for cities. Okay, that is whatever we have studied in the smart city objects, that is the things in IoT for in the how they are going to produce the data and what information is going to be discussed. A variety of sensors used in the street layer for a variety of smart city use cases. Here we are going to represent some of the list where we are going to have the devices, right? A magnetic sensor can detect a parking event by analyzing the changes in the surrounding magnetic field. When a heavy metal object such as a car or a truck comes close to it or on top of it, okay? A lighting controller can dim and brighten a light based on the combination of time-based and ambient conditions. Video cameras combined with video analytics can detect the vehicle faces and traffic conditions for various traffic and security use cases. An air quality sensor can detect and measure gas and particulate matter. Okay. So concentration to give the hyper localized perspective on the pollution in a given area. And devices, So devices counters give an estimate of the number of devices in the area where they're going to provide the rough idea of a number of vehicles that are moving or they are parked in a street or a public parking area. Okay, and second, even birds can public parks or public monuments for cities where bird control has become a big issue in the cities. Okay, for each type of the data what they are going to collect, there is a variety of solutions and possible approaches. The choice of sensor technology depends on the exact nature of the problem, the accuracy, cost trade-off appropriates for it, and any installation limitation posed by the physical environment. Another consideration is the requirement to interact with the other IoT system in the same physical space. For example, parking space availability sensors may be part of a closed system available to users through an app, or they may going to interact through an open APIs with other systems like towing companies, public law enforcement agencies, parking meters, and other things. Okay, so holistic solution would make the data open and integrated, bringing together disparate system through a single and open platform. One of the key aspects to consider which when choosing a sensing device is a lifetime maintenance cost. Some sensors are mounted on a city infrastructure such as light poles, so the sensors can benefit from the power and possibly the network connectivity, and there will be a mounting location. However, other sensors may be installed in the ground or in other inaccessible location. Once they have installed, the cost of pulling them out to deal with an issue is very high. At installation time, drawing a power line to the sensor location is typically also extremely costly. Such sensors are normally battery operated, because we know that when we are going to extract the power from the external sources, what happens is that if the power goes down, then there will be a problem. That's why we want to use a battery power which is going to be embedded in the circuit itself, and energy efficient, so they have long life expectancy and they are agile to avoid the maintenance cost. Another key aspect to consider when choosing the right technology for a smart city is the edge analytics. That is so where there are many sensors and their data must be managed through the network in a way that surely process the data with a minimal delay, and it is often in the real time. So when we are going to distinguish between the events in order to send only relevant pieces of data is a key component, because when the producer are going to produce a lot of information, we want to aggregate, okay, or normalize or condense, okay, useful data in a way that surely process the data. Okay, and with a large data intake inherent in a smart city design. For example, car counting sensor does not need to send an update for each car detected. It may send only a cumulative count every minute. It's not necessary that every second that needs to send the data, right? Totally after for every 1 minute, so it can send the data. So when it is going to detect a particular heavy metal vehicle, right? Not only car, even during that 1 minute, many vehicles may be going, right? Including the trucks, bus, okay, any heavy metal vehicle. Similarly, when we have pollution sensor, may process chemical sensing all the time but send status reports only at intervals. To maximize the processing speed and minimize the server requirements, the amount of data that goes through cloud servers must be event-based. Event-driven system allows the city infrastructure to be contextually intelligent, so that only targeted event trigger data transfer to the world. This flexibility allows the infrastructure to monitor a large number of systems without the risk of overloading the network with the uneventual status update message. Analytics proceed on the edge distributes the computing and storage requirements for the cloud, maximizing the data transfer speeds and minimizing the server requirements and its cost. Okay, finally, for sensor characteristics, storage is a key consideration that depends on the method and the location where we are going to use that, and length of the time the data has to be achieved. The varies is going to based on legal requirements on a per country basis as well as use case. The difference is significant between storing video for weeks and using a set of event based triggers, and it has a big impact on the analytics that can be included in limited physical capacity of the device. In addition, given the scale of city deployment and needs related for a long-term planning, the storage requirement might be higher than the traditional deployment, and event-driven approaches help avoid putting pressure on the supporting network. So there are some cities which are going to figure out the best approaches to address a particular storage requirements as well as to determine how long they are going to need to keep their data, and they choose some devices appropriately based on the criteria for what purpose the data is going to be used. Okay, then data collection and storage also have an important impact on the privacy. A video sensor is used to count the entities, may be able to read and can register numbers or record the faces of the pediatrician who are going to walk in a particular area, right? Legal and privacy consideration play a major role in choosing a system. There may be a mandate to record these type of data for public safety reasons. On the other end of the spectrum, there may be a conditional mandate that device can be counted only if they cannot be individually identified with the privacy as a requirement. In this, the sensor may be specifically chosen for its limited image resolution or inability to identify objects behind their general shape, or the communication system may also be designed to forbid more than device count transport. How the bandwidth, for example, the scope of the privacy requirements must be clearly understood and scoped at the time of design. So regardless of the type of system chosen, sensor data is transported and it is going to be processed by the IoT system. Although IoT systems use common APIs and normalized language in the cloud, they may use different network protocols in order to send the data to the end devices or the end users. Okay, to physically connect the data streams from many devices, it is very critical to have the network infrastructure that can communicate with the devices using the variety of communications protocols operating at the street level. So we use a cellular technology to core the ICT tools as a cities typically allow for easy and dense popular connectivity. So we can represent even the other technologies also going to be used. So we can say that network for a smart city has to be the ruggedized for outdoor conditions and must be able to withstand harsh weather conditions also. In order to support the ICT solutions, a smart city deploys the network must meet the standards for outdoor electronic devices and provide maintenance faults for simplified issue isolation. Another issue that network planning must take into account is that required level of smart city network lower area wide area network, that is a personal area network, is growing as a major protocol for even for the smart city sensors across our the multiple verticals. So this low area wireless network is well adapted to the type of the ranges required for the urban environment, that is long range bandwidth, that is a 2G, 3G and 4G have been provided types of data exchanges that most smart city sensor needs. However, there are some cases which you are going to multiple protocols may be deployed and we have the heterogeneous array of sensors for different domains and from different technology. Vendors utilize different communication protocols to drive certain benefits and features. Many sensors come with their own gateways that are compatible with their specific hardware. So we are going to use some specialized hardware for some of the sensor. That is because of the many sensors have their own gateways and they have their own specialized hardware. However, the network needs to be broad and vendor agnostic enough to enable these gateways to communicate with the larger network with end nodes that can bridge low power consumption protocols like Zigbee devices, whatever we used, right, to IP and meet a host other communication requirements. All these protocols and systems have to work together and be transported over the same network infrastructure. So smart city network also have to make possible local analysis and closed loop decision in making, which also means that the computing capacity at the end nodes need to be higher than the for a typical deployment. The size and complexity of the network grows with the size of the smart city deployment as well as with the number and types of sensors utilized by the city. The IoT network infrastructure is the backbone of the any cohesive smart solution for a smart city architecture. And about the when you are going to talk about the device connectivity, it is also going to play a key role in utility of the desired public services. Okay, and when you come to the second layer, so the job of the second layer is that so it is going to present above the street layer. So there are some routers, switches, and which are going to be deployed to match the size of the city. Okay, it depends. Metropolitan city or a taluk places or a district places needs to be transported. This layer is going to aggregate all the data collected by the sensors and end node network into single transport network. The city layer may appear to be simple transport layer between the edge devices and the data center or the internet. However, there is one key consideration of is that so what is the key consideration when you go to the city layer is that it is able to provide the multiple types of protocols for multiple types of IoT applications. There are some applications which are going to delay and there is a jitter sensitive, and some other applications require a deterministic approach to frame and delivery. A missed packet may generate an alarm or result in an invalid status report. As a result, the city layer must be built around to ensure that packet coming from a sensor or a gateway will always be forwarded successfully to the aided station. So the diagram, see city layer diagram, you can see here above the street layer, the city layer is present, right? And this is city layer, you can see the aggregation switch, which is of 1 Gbps, and see that side edge port. Okay, so when you have the REP segment 100, right, it is going to be blocked alternatively port for video LAN, that is a local area network. So there is a core switch of 10G. Okay, so now the data is going to be aggregated in the city layer and it has been distributed to, that has been transported to the data center layer, where the in this model there are two paths, right? So one is exist from any aggregate switch to the data center layer. A common protocol which is used to ensure this is the Ethernet protocol, that is a Resilient Ethernet Protocol. We call it, that is a REP. So that is a protocol where the information is going to be transported to the data center layer. Okay. And city layer may appear be simple transport layer between the edge devices and the data center or the internet. However, there are some multiple types of IoT applications are there. So whichever the data is required for such IoT applications, the data has been sent to the data center layer. So when you come to the data center layer, the functioning of this data center layer is whatever the data it is going to accept from the city layer, so that all the data is going to be collected from the sensors is sent to data center where it can be processed and correlated. Based on this processing of data, there is a meaningful information and trends can be derived and information can be provided back. If you take for example, an application of data center can provide a global view of a city's traffic or the parking system in the metropolitan city, which is going to help authorities to decide on the need for more or less common transport vehicles. Okay. At the same time, so automated response also is going to be generated for both traffic, city traffic, as well as a smart parking system. Okay, in order to coordinate the street light duration at the scale of the entire city to limit the traffic congestion. The key technology in creating any comprehensive smart solution with services is the cloud. Okay, with a cloud infrastructure, data is not stored in data center owned directly or indirectly by city authorities. Instead, the data is going to be stored in rented logical containers. Okay, so if you are going to store the data in such containers, the accessing through the network will be very easier, because the containers can extend or reduce based on the needs. The storage size and computing power are flexible and can adapt to changing requirements or the budget conditions. So in addition, so multiple contractors can store and process data at the same time without the complexity of exclusively owned space. This proximity and flexibility also facilitate the exchange of information between the smart systems and allow for the deployment of new applications that can leverage the information that is going to be taken from several IoT applications. Okay. The cloud model is the chief means of delivering the storage, virtualization, adaptability, and the analytics know how that city governments requires for technology mashups and synergy of the information embedded in the smart city. Traditional city networks there simply cannot keep up with the real-time data needs of smart cities. They're encumbered with their physical limitations. The cloud enables data analytics to be taken to server farms with large and extensible processing capabilities. See the diagram, how the cloud is going to send and receive the information from the different sources of smart city architecture, right? So see there is a municipal command and control center. So intelligent hospital is there, intelligent city is there, intelligent highway is there, intelligent factory is there. So factory optimization, where logistic optimization, there is a truck where it is going to get transported. Okay, and there is a traffic flow optimization, that is there are some vehicles which are moving in heavy metal vehicles that are going to be in the traffic cameras. They are going to be um, and automated car system. There is a you will have the traffic flow optimization with the automated car system. And there is a home energy management, that is also. So that is suppose I want to set a temperature of this particular room to some temperature, right? Then So it is going to send the message that it is rainy or it is cloudy or it is sunny. Based on that, the room temperature is going to be as automatically it is going to set in the thermo, right? With the use of the, that is a smart home energy system. And common network optimization, that is a, there is a intelligent digital signage, right? And if you take a smart or intelligent or hospital optimization, right, there are some intelligent medical devices which are connected to the ambulances. There are some sensors, and what is the location of the ambulance, where it is, and what time it is going to reach a particular location, okay, how many minutes and how many kilometers it is far away from that a specified hospital, okay. And this is a cloud, so which is going to receive and send the information to the different smart city automation systems, like as it is mentioned in the diagram, like the hospital management, smart hospital and traffic, okay, automated core system, and logistics optimization when it is come to the factories. So smart city issues require not just efficient use of infrastructure, the cloud is also going to help enable, they also require new data processing and management models. For example, if you take a cloud services allow the software as a service SaaS model that create a cyclical returns on investment. With cloud approach, okay, smart cities can also take advantage of operating expense based on consumption of models to overcome any financial crisis that is going to hurdles in adopting the some of the solutions which are like the most critical issues for the IoT applications, right? And critical data such as air condition, humidity, okay, then temperature, pollution, which are going to be the levels monitoring can be processed initially. So then, as the efficiency of IoT is scale up, richer data processing can be enabled in the cloud applications. If you take a humidity, if you are going to take humidity level, that can be used to regulate and color and luminosity of the street lights. In times when city budgets are strained, data processing can be scaled down to the what are the essential services that are very much necessary for any smart city architecture, like parking system, hospital management system, home automation system, right? So like that. So even for a emergency factory also, like logistics management, right? So in a layered architecture, whatever we have discussed is a platform that is going to be enabled by the cloud service by sending and receiving the information to the different automated systems as our smart city. Okay, this platform would aggregate, normalize, and expose the the data, city data through API, consumer by applications and driver services. However, not all data is processed in a central cloud-based data center. Most of the real-time and locally significant data can be directly processed at edge of the network and leveraging a fog architecture. After the edge, we have the fog architecture where processing and analytics capabilities are made available on the top of the street layer with the help of the fog architecture, where the gateways are going to operate. In this data coming from multiple sensors, the same type of multiple different types can be processed locally at the edge. So where the switches and gateways are going to operate, So there is the data coming from multiple sensors. The type of the multiple different types can be processed locally at the edge. Decisions are locally significant and can be made without unnecessary interactions with the cloud. The results from the locally processed data are then sent to the cloud to provide a more global perspective. Then when you come to the service layer, that is the layer, the last layer where the data is going to be distributed to the end users or the end devices, right? The true value of the ICT connectivity comes from the services that are measured and data can provide it to different users which are going to operating within a city. The smart city application can provide the value to and visibility for a variety of user types, so which is going to include different operators and different kinds of citizens, and there are some law enforcement. The collected data should be visualized according to the specific needs of each consumer of that data and the particular user's experience requirements and individual use cases. For example, parking data which is going to be indicating which spots are not aren't currently occupied can drive a citizen parking app with a map of available spots as well as an enforcement officers which are going to understand the state, that is of the public parking space, or it may be the smart parking system, or it is a traffic control system, while at the same time helping the city operators perspective on parking problem areas in the city at any given time. With the different levels of granularity and the scale, the same data performs three different functions. The three different users or traffic information on the same lines. The traffic information can be used by individual car drivers to find the least congested route. Okay, a variation of the same information can be made available to public transportation user to estimate the travel times. Public transportation system is available to the user to estimate the travel times. Public transport such as buses can be rerouted around known congestion points. The number of subway trains can be increased dynamically to respond to an increase in the traffic congestion. So this is going to be anticipated to the decisions of thousands or even millions of commuters to take public transportation instead of cars on days when roads are very congested. So here again, so same type of data is going to be utilized for different types of users in different ways based on the specific use cases. Okay, that depends. With the architecture, with the smart architecture which is going to be described, is an incorporate any number of IoT applications that can consume that is going to take the aggregated data or normalized data from the cloud hosted platform, or it is going to be taken from the fog applications. Because the entire architecture operates with compatible APIs, these applications can even enable cross-domain benefits. Okay, cross-domain benefits at the known traffic congestion points, parking spots could be removed from the availability maps, waste management routes could be properly rerouted, and street lighting could be increased. So how can we know all this information is going to, because we are going to receive the information from the different sources for different IoT applications. Okay, so where we are going to distribute this information through the service layer, right? All this information is going to be correlated with developed and improved by the system inside the layered architecture, since there is a horizontal level of aggregation and normalization. The architecture is going to provide application developers and sensor vendors with the tools necessary to innovate and invent new community experiences via open APIs, right? Software development kits that city information model and more to develop city qualified applications that drive high value smart city services. This enables tailored, customized smart city services that can also be developed by the citizens for themselves. So when we are going to study the different cities are going to have the the whatever the information we are going to receive from the cloud, okay, and data hosting requirements is going to based on the security, and there are some legal policies when we are going to distribute the data. So when we are going to consider the developing of ICT connectivity solution is whether a city has requirements about where data should be hosted. Data can be hosted on premises or in the cloud. Okay, this data cloud fog architecture provides an intermediate layer. The data resulting from fog processing can be sent to the cloud or data center operated locally on the premises. On the premises encompasses traditional networks and all their limitations, whereas cloud hosting encompasses a whole host of the security risk if the proper measures are not taken to secure a particular citizen's data. When the data is sent to the cloud, okay, so everything is going to be based on they may restrict. We have to follow the legal policies on the physical location where this data is actually stored. So smart city is going to utilize all the ICT connectivity would be cloud in its architecture, but this is impossible. The city would invest far more in the city layers networking. That is, their example is for example, if you take a edge computing or fog computing architecture, a city could begin with traditional networking designs and premises hosting with the internet to protect the data, but then it might quickly conclude that capabilities on premises data center log behind what cloud is going to use the data management that has been sent through the data center layer to the service layer. Okay, for example, if you take images from the individual street cameras, it is going to be stored locally, while the analytics about the pedestrian or the car flows and the associated metadata may be hosted in the cloud. Okay, so this is about the city architecture, that is the different layers of the architecture, what they are doing, how they are going to get the information from the cloud, and how it is going to be used. That aggregated data is going to be used by the different IoT applications for the smart city working. Okay, it depends upon the size of the city again. Okay, so because if you go to metropolitan cities, you can find too many, there will be a traffic congestion, right? And too many street lights will be there, and then you have the more number of hospitals will be there, right? And from the cloud we have to provide the data to all the connected smart city architecture, or it may be the different say for example home energy automation, or it may be intelligent hospital management, or it may be the logistics management for any factory. Okay, so you please go through the topics whatever I covered only today the 4 layers of the smart city architecture. One is a street layer, second is a city layer, third is a data center layer, and fourth is a service layer. Okay, just go through that. Then if you have any doubts, you please